Is there intelligent alien life? And if so, has the government been covering it up?
What's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming back to the channel. I got Steezo for life and King Chris with me tonight. We are going to talk a little bit about Neil deGrasse Tyson. I want to preface this video, first of all, saying that I used to be a big fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson. Steezo and I were talking previously before we recorded the video that we kind of shared the same thoughts that, you know, pre-COVID-19, so like around 2019, 2020, that era, up until then, I had the utmost respect for Neil deGrasse Tyson. And in fact, I used to listen to his podcast, Star Talk, on Spotify and YouTube. Steezo, did you watch that podcast as well, where he kind of dumbs down science for people, you know?
Yeah, my experience with Neil deGrasse Tyson was I did eventually, only in the last couple of years actually, is I watched the Star Talk. But before that, I watched, I was aware of him from...
He redid the Cosmos.
Yes, I watched Cosmos. That was a great documentary on that. And then, he was also part of Obama's science advisory and stuff like that. So that's how I became aware, because he got, you know, they would talk to him about astrological events and stuff going on. That's who he would get interviewed all the time about media.
Right.
And he was on Rogan a few times, and I was into that. So, and I always enjoyed his appearances on there, and he got, you know, a lot of insight. He kind of made, like, I've always been into astronomy, but I think he basically made astronomy cool if you weren't like considered like
right.
He made it easy to listen to.
Yeah, he's an educated dude, and he knows how to dumb it down enough to where the average person can understand.
And he's a nerd. He loves Star Wars, Star Trek, all science fiction and stuff like that. So I used to watch his movie reviews and stuff, and he would talk about what they got right and the wrong in science fiction.
Right. So what I wanted to preface it with is that we all used to be fans of him, and really what this video is going to kind of showcase is that he kind of flipped a switch and started to step away from the root of his passion, which is science and astrophysics, and explaining that and teaching it to people who don't understand, to kind of politicizing his fame, you know, his notoriety, or that might not be the best, you know, description. Now I'd say he's notorious, in a sense of being kind of a left-leaning propagandist in a way. And
not to mention he's one of those that were outed as being tied to the fucking mainstream narrative, like hardcore, unmovable.
And that you bring up a good point. The mainstream kind of thing. A lot of what we do here, none of us have ever once claimed to be experts, but we ask questions, and you know,
we're passionate about the topic.
And when it comes to like ancient civilization, we say the same things. Like the archaeologists, like Flint Devil, you know, that, and the people in control in Egypt of the pyramids, like the mainstream archaeology and history, like they tend to gatekeep, which is ironic because my tag is Gatekeepers Dymo, right? But it you know, at the end of the day, the gatekeeping of this knowledge, I think, is very wrong. And
it's holding us back. Yeah,
it is. And you know, I want to first highlight this video. So I'm sure if you guys, and we're a little late to this, but if you guys, you know, are on the internet at all, I'm sure you guys have seen clips of this, but I thought it'd be a good time to kind of give our thoughts on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this right now.
Scientific American, the magazine. I remember when it was around when I was
grew up with it. Yeah,
grew up with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, their editor had to quit. You saw this?
Yeah, I heard about it because she expressed some opinions. Right. Yeah.
Okay, right, sure, but it sure didn't sound scientific. It didn't sound like the person I would want to be running Scientific American.
Okay.
It was a rant on Twitter. Okay, I could read it to you. It's really ugly. You know, I apologize to younger voters that my Gen X is so full of fucking fascists. Okay, I'm not.
Okay, I'm not a gasket right there.
I'm not for.
All right. Yeah.
I'm not for canceling anybody on either side.
Yeah.
So But here's what I think is the scandal.
What?
This is in Scientific American.
Yeah.
Less than a year ago. Inequity between male and female athletes is the result not of inherent biological differences between the sexes, but of biases in how they are treated in sports. That's nuts. And it sure ain't scientific, and it's in Scientific American. And that's why the Democrats lost the election. It's true.
Bill, 20 minutes on your platform, you come up with another reason why the Democrats lost. You already have the answer. They lost the election. So anything you say is why they did it.
First of all, you don't watch this show, so you don't know.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there.
Yeah.
He completely, he is avoiding the answer to Bill's question immediately. And I don't agree with a lot of what Bill says, but when it comes down to it, Bill's asking him about, the science of the root of that statement from Scientific America, the author from Scientific America. And if you notice, Neil deGrasse Tyson immediately shifts it to politics.
Right.
Doesn't want to touch the actual root of what they were talking about, which was,
because he can't deny it.
Exactly.
He doesn't have anything against it.
And that's what I think is the main kind of, issue here, right? With why we're kind of trying to call out Neil deGrasse Tyson right now. Steezo, do you have any thoughts on?
Yeah, first of all, right after he made that comment about that's the reason why the Democrats lost the election, his laugh was very condescending. I mean, he does have a really loud laugh, but that was almost kind of a mockery of it, right?
Yeah.
And what Bill's looking for basically, okay, this is from Scientific American. It's like I don't know if it's the premier magazine, but like he'll say later on, it's been around for almost 200 years, right?
Yeah.
And it's got all stuff. Well, Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson has papers and shit published in there, so he's probably not going to be out speaking out about there. But this is going to be another example of the whole scientific community that's all rallied against stuff. They're not going to go ahead and listen to any sort of outside criticism. They're not going to criticize their fellow peers, like that, because that would hurt his deal. But that's what I'm taking from it so far.
Well,
it's a simple thing. He's asking him, here's the statement, show me the science in the statement. And he can't.
Well,
he
almost, and to Bill Maher's credit, he tried to kind of corner him. Like, I'm going to present this statement. You give me your rebuttal in terms of, the science, right? And that's kind of why I was laughing at it. Like, he completely avoided that, right? Like, tried to corner him, and he didn't fall for it. And it's not the first time Neil deGrasse Tyson has spoken about the transgenderism issue, right? Like he has in the past talked about how, as an astrophysicist, first of all, I want to label, like, he's talking about like biology and couldn't even explain why genders don't make sense, So I just thought that was funny, worthy of pausing, but let's finish out this clip.
I know you don't, and it's okay. But you talk as if you do, and you fucking don't. And that's okay. Just don't bullshit me. That's the one thing people can't ever do on your show is bullshit me. And that's fine. But I don't say that. I have very good reasons. But engage with the idea here. What I'm asking is, Scientific American is saying, basically, that the reason why an WNBA team can't beat the Lakers is because of societal bias.
What you're saying is not Scientific American says that. An editor for Scientific American says that, who no longer has the job. So don't indict 100.
Which is bullshit.
Why did the editor lose the job? Yeah. Because of the tweet or that comment?
Right.
Well, and also, again,
the comment was from a year ago, and it stayed in there, and there was the editor didn't face any issues because of the comment, correct?
And he's neglecting the argument being stated.
Yep.
And trying to place it with, trying to make the point being the editor. Like, no. The editor got fired for a reason. Kind of what you were saying, Chris. Like,
yeah, that was because of the outbreak, the tweet. Yeah.
70-year-old magazine because somebody.
Okay, this is called Scientific American, and they're printing something
because someone enters the cesspool that is social media and then participates in that exchange. So why can't you just talk about science?
Why can't you just say this is not scientific, and Scientific American should do better?
Well, does she still have her job?
No. Not because of this. I said the scandal is not her tweet. The scandal,
Because that was like a year ago, was it? Which one was a year ago?
I think a year ago, women still couldn't beat men in basketball or any other sport. And it wasn't because of society. You don't see a
By the
problem
way,
here?
long distance swimming, women might actually have the advantage. You can look into that. Yeah.
So
Maybe
sad.
long distance swimming.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay.
sad.
This is just
I've looked into it. Yeah.
oh man, dude.
Well, I'm going to file you under part of the problem.
Yeah, there you go. Just drop mic drop.
Destroyed.
He told me to straw man him there. You know what I mean? You know, it's ridiculous.
And like you had said before previously, Steezo, that it's arrogant the way he laughs at him, you know, and that's how you can tell he got him, because he starts doing the whole laughing defense mechanism, right?
Yeah.
So okay, before we play the next clip, you know, I couldn't find what I was looking for in regards to the subject matter of the next clip, which is basically Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about Elon Musk. So go zoom, you know, rewind to 5 years ago. Neil deGrasse Tyson had nothing but good things to say about Elon. And then, of course, now, especially because, you know, Elon is, you know, started getting shoulder to shoulder with Trump and all this other stuff. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson has shifted he's using his platform and his fame to now degrade Elon in a way. And I don't care what you think about Elon politically or as a public figure. Elon is doing a lot of good things.
A lot of good.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of good.
And what he's done with his SpaceX program, SpaceX program is very, like, you have to respect what he's done, right? Yeah. Like, because a lot of the talk with space too is that, like, you know, you shoot rockets up there and then all of the extra material from the base of the rocket gets stuck in orbit, and you're basically just not only throwing away resources, but you're also polluting at the same time, you know? Mm-hmm. And what Elon is doing is basically cutting all of that out. And now you can recycle, which is, let's be real, it's a very blue thought process, right? Like, you're not recycling the materials, the taxpayer dollars, if it gets into government. Right now, he's funding everything on his own.
Right.
But in 10 years, if this is even more successful, it could be a government-funded, you know, but
government contracts. They could.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was looking for. So I'm going to play this clip for you because I think this also shows kind of why we're calling it. We're not here to just rip on Neil deGrasse Tyson because of politics, right? Like, we actually want to show that there's legitimate reason why we think this way, and I think this really highlights what we're trying to show.
How soon could Elon Musk realistically send humans to Mars? Oh, another good question.
I have strong views on that. My read of the history of space exploration is such that we do big, expensive things only when it's geopolitically expedient, such as we feel threatened by an enemy. And so for him to just say, let's go to Mars because it's the next thing to do, what does that venture capitalist meeting look like? So, Elon, what do you want to do? I want to go to Mars. How much will it cost? $1 trillion. Is it safe? No, people will probably die. Return on the investment, nothing. A 5-minute meeting, and it doesn't happen. So we agree.
I'm going to pause it there. And I will pull this back up in a moment, but I think it's important to show before we give our opinion. This next clip is from Neil deGrasse Tyson's YouTube channel, Star Talk, which, again, going back to what we entered the conversation on, at least Steezo and I both watched this podcast, and I just want to highlight the agenda.
Venture capitalist. Elon, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to send astronauts to Mars. How much will it cost? A lot, possibly $1 trillion. Is it dangerous? Yes. Will people die? Probably. What's the return on that investment? I can't think of one right now. That's a 5-minute meeting.
I mean,
yeah.
So he said this. If you look at the date, he said that on his program a week before he was on Bill Maher.
Right.
Said the same thing.
Yeah, it's all.
Well, and at the end of the day, he's not just a scientist. He is a performer as well. He's a public figure. He knows what he's doing here. He's an entertainer, exactly. And this is why I think it's not, we're not stepping out of line as just regular pedestrians living life by calling him out on this. Like, we're smarter than what I think he projects us to be, right?
Well,
like
I think, he has that attitude with multiple people. I think, and you see it come across a lot of times when he engages with people, just
like
that
Joe Rogan,
the condescending tone.
Yeah,
like you're like, I'm smarter than you, and I'm gonna dumb this down because I know you're not gonna understand what I'm saying. Like, it's just condescending, man. There's ways to go about it, and it always comes off on the wrong end of it.
Well, it's gross too to pretend like Elon isn't doing good for humanity right now.
Well, that's dude, he's jealous, 100%. Like, that's the way it comes off to me, is just he's bitter, jealous that Elon is doing all this stuff with space and pushing everything forward and reaching new milestones, and it's involving space, which is his, Neil's foray, and he's just not the America scientist anymore, I think.
Well, and also to pretend like Elon, isn't doing good for us. It's like
ridiculous.
It really is ridiculous. And when he's talking about what's the payoff, I mean, if he pulls this off, the payoff could be us actually getting.
Yeah, you mean the human race making it to Mars? That's quite a fucking payoff.
And that's also equally, if not equally, bigger than going to the moon.
Fuck yeah,
like,
it's bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it pisses me off that this guy just parades himself around, and he clearly has an agenda.
Yep.
I'm not going to go full conspiracy and say that he's being told to say these things. I think he does believe it, but
I think he genuinely feels that way. I don't think anyone's telling him to say it. I think he just feels an obligation, and there's a lot of jealousy involved, I think.
Well, and I think you're right about the jealousy aspect. I think he sees Elon as a threat for his pride, and you can sit there and be a theorist all day. Hate to say it, Elon's making shit happen, and he might not know as much in terms of astrophysics, but he has enough resources and enough intelligence.
He's still a smart man, yeah.
Exactly.
And he's showcased multiple times that he's willing to put his fucking ass on the line and spend billions and billions and billions of dollars to try and do the right thing, or at least what he feels is the right thing.
He's taking profits. And only recently is he starting to work with NASA. Recently, I'm saying within the last 5 years. Before that, he started the SpaceX program with the profits from Tesla and other companies. Wasn't getting any government funding, and there was a video out there about how I couldn't find it, but Neil was saying how Elon hasn't done anything that NASA hasn't yet, and that didn't age well, right?
Fuck no, it didn't.
Yeah, because now NASA's sitting there like, God damn, this fucking private guys. They're not. He's not getting government. Imagine what Elon could do with government funding, right? Like, so let's just finish this out.
Okay, wait. I got nothing against Mars. What I'm saying is, here's how we get to Mars. Ready? China leaks a memo. Doesn't even have to be true. They leak the memo that they want to put military bases on Mars.
Right.
Then we're on Mars in 10 months, but NASA doesn't have a spacecraft, but Elon does. Here's my spacecraft to Mars, and we end up paying him to use his spaceship to get to Mars. And that'd be easy for China because Mars is already red, right? So that'd be an easy sell. That'd be an easy sell. Okay? That's how. So I don't see it happening until governments judge that it's geopolitically in our interest. Otherwise, I don't see it as just an exploration.
But I believe President-elect Trump has some interest in Mars, so you might have another conversation in a couple of months.
At some point, somebody has to pay for it, and just being interested in something is not the same thing as paying for it.
He believes there are people there. I mean, I listened to that podcast with Joe Rogan. It took 4 hours to two bottles of wine, but I listened to it.
Oh, fuck. Here we go.
Why do his comments of what he thinks is alive on Mars matter to you at all?
Because I
He's
was
president.
He's such a fucking prick, dude.
Yeah,
He's such a fucking prick.
Yeah, he thinks
no one said anything about aliens. He just threw that in there.
He thinks Elon's controlled opposition.
Yeah,
bro, 100%.
The thing is like, you know, again, it actually goes to what I just said before, the belittling of what Elon Musk is doing. I think there's a pride aspect or pride factor going in there. But you know, it's just I think he's going to change his perspective in a couple years when Elon does get because I think it's inevitable. He's going to get he's going to start muscling his way into or strongmanning his way into the contracts, you know, and they're going to realize like NASA just had a project for like
You mean Elon strong arming his way in?
Yeah, Elon will strong arm his way in, but NASA had a project of this like dock for rocket ships where like they would like load them in, and it's still failing. And yeah, like that's not what this video is about, and I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly what I'm talking about, but I saw something about it, and I think Elon Musk is proving
right
in real time what he's capable of doing.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think Elon's going to have to strong arm his way into the stuff. They're going to end up working with him because they see what his company's capable of.
Well, and the first video was just one dock, right, where they shot the rocket off and it landed back. And the second one that he just put out not even a month ago was 2. So he's got 2 now that can launch and receive. So, you know, I think it goes to show what he's doing. Like he's putting his money where his mouth is 100%.
I was wondering. I thought maybe that he might escape there for the holidays. You know, you got me stuck on the damn holidays now.
The point is, you can't live on Mars. I've said this so many times. How badly would we have? How badly?
All right, you know what? I think we can end it there. At the end of the day.
No, there at the end of this, it talks about where he asks him something like that. He kind of caps on. Bill Maher burns him again here. They're talking about
water.
Yeah.
With 6 months.
Preach it.
Right here.
In addition, Elon wants to terraform Mars. And if you do that, you could then just walk off a spaceship and breathe the air. But if that's Earth Plan B, what did you do to Earth that now you got to go to Mars? If you messed up Earth, but you're good enough to turn Mars into Earth, then you can turn Earth back into Earth and never have to go there.
See, Neil just wants to clap. That's all he wants.
No. So it didn't show the last part. There's a part where he talks to him about something and the subject of whatever. I think it had to do with COVID and virus and stuff like that. And he says something like, well, he goes, you know, people say this and so deGrasse says, oh, well, he goes, I'm a scientist. He goes, I'm not gonna listen to you because you don't even know about if a woman's team can beat a man's team. You won't admit that. And he goes, what? And he goes, listen, he goes, but I'm a scientist. He goes, this is about biology. He goes, if I have a goiter on Uranus, he goes, I'll call you.
God, I wish we had that. I
wish
we had that.
Dude, like you fucking killed him again. It was in that whole segment, and it's on YouTube. If you watch, it's like 15 minutes long. Wow. If you watch the whole thing, but Bill Maher destroys him again. They're actually friends, so like.
No, I'm sure, and
but you know but Bill Maher is one of those people like, you know, just like he's friends with like he's got Republican friends like, and then you know he goes on Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan told him one day on there when he was like sitting there, he goes, look, he goes, you're a comedian. He goes, I have political, opinions. You have political opinions, but at the end of the day, your opinion. He goes, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Bill. And he just, they were like joking. He goes, oh, come on now. So remember, the case kind of started because they both agreed on the whole vaccine and COVID thing and how that was handled. But then again, that's about it. You know, there's a couple things that Bill Maher is like kind of the more moderate on. But then he gets into his other shit where, you know, he gets into his social justice sometimes. But he's not woke. He does not You know, of course he's Jewish.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference between him and Neil deGrasse Tyson is that Neil deGrasse Tyson he's willing to set aside his scientific beliefs for his political beliefs,
Right.
and that's really what I wanted to highlight tonight. Is that
Yeah.
and look, I know, I'm positive like having a title of Neil deGrasse Tyson is a fraud is going to piss some people off. But at the end of the day, you can't deny that he's being fraudulent in certain ways, you know?
Right.
So, Chris, any last thoughts? Steve's kind of.
No, I'm right there with you, man. Like he's responsible for some bullshit, and I think it's more than just the political stuff leaning into the science. I think he's holding a lot of scientific things back, new possible discoveries and new theories because he's stuck, subscribed to the mainstream narrative that a lot of people like him are scared or refuse to let go of. You know what I mean? And that, to me, I think does more damage than even the political mixing with his science stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. Well, listen, everyone, thank you for stopping by. If you made it to the end of this video,
good job.
I commend you. Yeah, good job, and thank you very much. Stizo, thanks for showing up tonight. Chris, thank you for showing up tonight.
No problem,
and we will see you guys on the next video.
Later, guys.
Later.